The paper I'm presenting is called Neonatal Musicality. Do Newborns Detect Emotions in Music? It's by Amis Nagy and others, published in 2022, Psychological Studies 67 4, 501 through 513. Newborn babies are exposed to music from the womb, and research suggests that this early exposure may shape their musical preferences and emotional responses. This study aimed to investigate whether newborns can differentiate between happy, sad, and neutral music. The research question is, can newborns detect emotions in music, and if so, which emotions are they most sensitive to? Sad music had a different effect on newborns compared to happy music. And in contrast, happy music tends to be more upbeat. It tends to be more energetic, which might not engage infants as much. And happy music often lacks the same level of emotional complexity as sad music, making it less interesting or meaningful for newborns. Also, when listening to sad music, the baby's brain activity patterns were similar to adults that are listening to sad music, because sad music often has a more complex, nuanced emotional tone that resonates with the complexities of human emotions. Newborns also may be attuned to this emotional complexity, allowing them to pick up on the subtle changes in tone and pitch that convey sadness. And also, the brain is still developing rapidly during the first few months of life, and infants are most sensitive to auditory cues during this period. And research also suggests that the auditory cortex, which processes music and speech, is more mature at birth than previously thought, making newborns more receptive to musical cues. Newborns may be able to detect the emotional valence of music, which is sadness. And like I described before, the sad music is something that's much more complex, and just the emotional tone of it, just kind of gives the baby peace about what they're listening to or what emotions they're trying to feel as they're listening to the music. The hypothesis is that newborns are capable of detecting emotional cues in music, particularly happy and sad emotions, and will exhibit distinct brain activity patterns in response to these emotional stimuli. The hypothesis suggests that newborns have some level of emotional awareness and can differentiate between different emotional cues in music. The prediction that newborns will show increased brain activity in response to happy music and decreased brain activity in response to sad music is based on the idea that happiness is often associated with positive emotional states, and sad music is often associated with negative emotional states. The researchers used a controlled laboratory setting with 30 healthy newborns ages 1 to 3 days old, and the babies were played 3 types of music, which consisted of 3 2-minute audio tracks that were happy music, sad music, and silence. And the task involved playing the music for the babies while measuring their brain activity using EEG. And we'll just kind of talk about what sources of data or tools that were used. And just like I just said, the EEG was for measuring the brain activity. The ABR for the brain's response was the auditory brainstem response. And that was simply a technique that measures the auditory system's response to sound stimuli. And the audio tracks for different types of music. That's a crucial aspect of the study, because it was a variety of audio tracks with different emotions: happy, sad, silence. And this would allow the researchers to explore how the movements or their emotions affected their emotional processing across the different types of music that they were using. And the FNIRS, which was the functional near infrared spectroscopy, sorry if I mispronounced that, that was a non-invasive technique that measures changes in blood oxygenation in the brain. And in this context, that actual tool was used to monitor the blood oxygen levels in specific brain regions while the newborn is listening to sad music and engaging in those minor leg movements, eyes closed, finger movements, that type of thing. And the last one, audio equipment for music playback, that was kind of what was used to, they used a CD player and also headphones to put on the newborns while they were doing the study to see how that would come out in their emotions or any type of movement that they were doing at that time. Here we have a few graphs of the different effects of the conditions. One being the eyes closed, the other one showing the eyes open, the third one shows the latency of finger movements, and the last graph shows the latency of leg stretching. And so we'll move to the first graph that shows the frequency of the eyes closed, and it shows that on the graph has frequency, rate, and minute. And so on the happy, it shows a little bit, maybe around the 2-minute mark for the happy conditions, and it goes just a little bit almost to the 3 for the sad. And it shows the control that the minutes that control that, which is about, I want to say maybe 4.5 minutes with the eyes being closed. And so then now we move to the frequency of the eyes open. It's the same chart, and it shows for the happy conditions, it shows about not even a minute, almost a minute for the happy, and right at 40 seconds for the sad. And it also shows the control, which was a little bit above, a little bit close to a minute for that, the eyes closed, the frequency of that. And moving along to the latency of the finger movements, it shows the baseline for sad, which is about 30, maybe 38 seconds, versus the happy condition, where that looks like that's about right at 30. And the baseline, it shows that between maybe 17 and 18 seconds of the finger movements. And the last graph that we show is the latency of the leg stretching. That is right at about, looks like it's in between, it could be 28 seconds. And the happy condition, a little over 15, 16 seconds, I want to say. And the baseline, about 12 seconds. So these are just a few of the different movements, eyes closed, that it shows when the newborns are listening to either happy music or sad music. So it kind of shows that the sad music does overpower the happy music. The results showed that newborns did detect emotions in music. When listening to happy music, the baby's brain activity patterns were similar to those of adults who are listening to happy music. And in contrast, when listening to sad music, the brain activity patterns were similar to those of adults who are listening to sad music. And the silence condition had no significant effect on the brain activity. And also, the study found significant differences in brain activity between happy and sad music conditions. And the happy music condition elicited more alpha wave activity in the auditory cortex, whereas the sad music condition elicited more beta wave activity in the same region. As we reach the discussion of detecting emotions in music, the power of music in newborn development, the research suggests that even from birth, newborns possess a remarkable ability to detect and respond to emotions in music. And the amazing capacity is a testament to the advanced development of the brain's emotional processing centers in early childhood. And the exposure to music during this critical period plays a vital role in shaping cognitive and emotional development. And it also brings us to emotional regulation and resilience, because music has been found to have a profound impact on emotional regulation in children, helping them navigate stress, anxiety, and other emotions. And this effect may also extend to newborns, potentially influencing their emotional well-being throughout childhood and beyond. And there's another early emotional awareness, because newborns as young as a few days old can distinguish between different emotional expressions in music, such as happiness, sadness, and also anger. And this ability is to recognize and respond the emotional cues lays the foundation for future emotional intelligence and social skills. Also, musical memory and development, because newborns have been shown to remember melodies and rhythms from early exposure, setting the stage for future musical abilities. And this foundational knowledge may influence their appreciation and understanding of music later on as they get older. And last would be a parent-child bonding through music, because music serves as a powerful tool for parent-child interaction and a strong bond and attachment. By engaging with their newborns through music, parents can promote emotional development, and that creates a positive atmosphere, and it actually lays the foundation again for a lifelong appreciation of music. In conclusion, the researchers are suggesting that the advanced brain development of the emotional processing centers in newborns contribute to their ability to detect emotions. And also, the newborns have been able to differentiate between emotions in music, because research has shown that infants as young as 6 to 12 months old could recognize and respond to emotional expressions in music. And so this has been demonstrated that newborns as young as a few days old can also differentiate between different emotional expressions in music. And for the innate ability to recognize emotional cues, the study found that newborns have an innate ability to recognize and respond to emotional cues in music, which suggests that this ability is not solely a result of learning or exposure to music. Thank you for your attention, and I hope this presentation has sparked your interest in the fascinating world of neonatal musicality.